So there's been yet another maritime disaster, this time not necessarily on the water, but on the shores of Phuket, specifically Chalong Bay, involving a whole lot of speedboats, and this happened very early in the morning. Now, as far as we know at this stage, nobody was injured, and we should be very grateful that if an incident like this was going to happen, that it happened without people on board, obviously so early in the morning. Now, police are still trying to understand exactly what happened. Well, let's go through the story and the way it's covered by various media, starting with Bangkok Post. And some 20 fully refuelled speedboats, these numbers do vary with the stories, were on fire at Chalong Pier this morning. And Phuket's governor said the blaze started on a speedboat at the pier at 4 a.m. Strong winds spread the fire to adjacent speedboats. And we'll go to this version of the story from Khao English on khao.english.com. Fire in Phuket destroys 22 boats in an early morning blaze. It says authorities in Thailand's southern island province of Phuket being an island and a province, are racing to determine the cause of a major fire that destroyed more than 20 speedboats at the Chalong Pier early Tuesday. So when you're at the Chalong Pier facing out towards the sea, all these boats are basically on the left side of the pier, and we've seen them for years. They just sort of pull up onto the very small beach there. Maybe they can't afford a mooring or a position along the pier, and there are usually 30, 40, 50 boats just all pulled up onto the beach, and they're all very, very close together, hence part of this problem. And just moving down here, the Phuket Deputy Governor said initial reports from witnesses and officials indicated the fire began with an explosion on one speedboat, and strong sea winds then carried burning debris to nearby vessels moored at the pier. Halfway through the next paragraph, crews attempted to cut mooring lines and separate the boats to prevent the flames spreading. Efforts were hampered by low tide, which made access difficult and delayed full control of the fire. And then later, the governor ordered an urgent review of CCTV footage from the pier and surrounding routes. Officials noted that all boats had been fully fuelled in preparation for carrying tourists to nearby islands, raising concerns over the intensity of the blaze. Well, a few things. We're right in the peak of peak season. All these boats and all these boat tours are fully booked. And the other thing to consider, this Chalong Bay does face towards the east, and this time of the year we get quite strong northeasterly winds. They start off quite strong in the morning and then they dissipate during the day. That wouldn't have helped. Another paragraph in that story, one boat owner told reporters that 3 of his speedboats were destroyed. Each larger vessel was valued around 5 million baht. He normally operates trips to Coral Island is now called Banana Island. I think it's privately owned, but was forced to cancel fully booked tours on Tuesday, affecting more than 100 tourists. Now, on any particular day of, say, December and January, this particular part of Chalong Beach and the Chalong Pier would just be packed with thousands of tourists heading out to the islands, either just out to Coral Island, which is about a 10-minute trip, or beyond out to PP, for example. So this would have been very, very busy today and a lot of very disappointed tourists. So the 2 questions to ask here are about insurance, the boats, and also, of course, travel insurance for those tourists who have missed out going on their tour. And we go to one more story. This from Nation Thailand. Major fire destroys at least 10 speedboats. Clearly this was reported much earlier. And just in that photo there, I know exactly where it is. There looks a lot more than just 10 boats just in that one photo. Let's see if we can find something new here. At around 4 a.m, the Facebook page Phuket Hot News, they're usually right on the beat, reported intense flames erupting from a speedboat moored among a row of vessels at the pier. And fire crews from multiple agencies, supported by rescue volunteers, have been spraying water to prevent the fire from spreading to the many other boats still docked nearby. And then a bit further down, police said it was still unclear whether the fire was triggered by an electrical fault on a boat or by negligence. And then the total losses are expected to run into several million baht. The speedboats are high-value assets, and authorities said updates would follow as the situation develops. Yeah, you're probably not going to be able to buff that out. Boat safety, boat incidents again in the headlines in Thailand. Not a good look when you've got some 20 plus boats going up in smoke in such a conflagration. Whatever happened on one boat, because of the proximity and the way these boats are stored, just pulled up on the beach, was going to spread onto all the other boats. A lot of very sad people today. A lot of people lost their property, lost their livelihoods, and all their staff just sort of wondering what's going to be happening with all their jobs. So I personally, I know these boats. I've seen the situation on a lot of these boats, and I wouldn't get on any of these boats down in Chalong Bay and go out on a trip. There's probably 2 or 3 companies I would actually go on a boat tour with because I've seen the way that they look after their boats, and I trust their staff and their crew. One being 5 Star Marine, which have got the highest standard of boat safety out of anybody in Phuket. I'm not saying that because they used to sponsor the program. I'm saying that because it's true. They really do look after the safety of their boats. But there are a lot of boats, the storage of the boats, the way that they maintain them, a huge lot of questions need to be asked, and a lot of this will come down at the end of the day to maintenance. Thanks for watching today. Hopefully, we've brought you up to date with that story. Don't forget, you can buy me a coffee. You can subscribe to the channel. We look forward to seeing you next time.